Jason had been looking for an apartment for weeks. The city was crowded, rents were high, and every place he saw seemed either too expensive or falling apart. When he finally found a small old apartment in a quiet building on the edge of downtown, he felt relieved. It was not fancy, but it was his. A modest one-bedroom with a small attic that came with the rent. He did not care much about the attic. It was just extra storage space, he thought. The first few days were busy. He moved boxes, unpacked his belongings, and tried to make the place feel like home. He liked the apartment despite its creaky floors and old wallpaper. It had a charm he could not explain. On the third night, as he was arranging his clothes in the closet, he heard a faint noise from above. It was almost like whispering, but it stopped as soon as he looked up. He shook his head. Maybe it was just the wind or the building settling. Old apartments creaked. He tried to ignore it and went to bed. But the next morning, when he opened the attic door to check some old boxes, he noticed something strange. The air felt warmer, and a soft glow came from the corner of the attic. "Hello?" Jason called out cautiously. A small figure stepped out of the shadows. She was like nothing he had ever seen. Her skin had a pale shimmer, almost like moonlight reflecting off silver water. Her eyes were large and glowing faintly, with colors that shifted like the northern lights. Her hair floated around her head in soft waves, moving slightly as if underwater. Jason froze. Who are you?" he asked, his voice shaking. The girl's eyes focused on him and she smiled gently. "I am Lyra," she said in soft, broken English. "We married." Jason's brain felt like it had stopped working. "Married?" he repeated, slowly backing away. "You're what? You live here? I rented this apartment." Lyra tilted her head, her expression calm but insistent. "Yes. We married, bonded, ritual, cannot break." Jason laughed nervously. "Okay, I think you're joking. This is a prank, right?" He looked around, expecting hidden cameras or someone to jump out and yell, "Got you!" But the apartment was empty. Lyra stepped closer, her small hands trembling slightly. "Not joke. From my world, ceremony, you, mine, yours." Jason's heart raced. He wanted to scream, but no words came out. His mind was struggling to process the impossible. "Your world? What do you mean, your world?" Lyra's glowing eyes dimmed slightly as if sensing his fear. "Far place. My people, different. Ritual binds, Gus, wait for you." Jason pinched the bridge of his nose. "Okay, I need to think. This can't be real. I must be dreaming." He turned to leave the attic, but the girl moved gracefully in front of him, blocking the way. "I help you. Understand," she said softly. "See? Proof." Before Jason could react, she raised her hands and a faint energy shimmered around them. A small object in the attic, a chair, lifted a few inches into the air, spinning slowly before landing gently. Jason staggered back, unable to believe what he had just seen. You just moved that with magic?" he asked, voice trembling. Lyra nodded. "Not magic. Power of bond. You feel it too, soon." Jason's skepticism collided with fear. He wanted to call the police or someone official, but he knew how insane it would sound. A glowing alien girl claiming to be married to him and demonstrating strange powers in his own apartment. I don't know what to do," Jason admitted, his voice softening. He was tired, confused, and a little scared. Lyra's expression softened. "I only want stay safe with you." Jason took a deep breath and tried to calm himself. "Okay, we'll figure this out," he said cautiously. "But you can't just live in my apartment without some kind of explanation." Lyra nodded eagerly. "Yes. Explain. You understand." Over the next few days, Jason tried to communicate with her. She knew very little human language, but she had a strange way of understanding emotions. She learned quickly, mimicking simple phrases and gestures. Despite his initial fear, Jason found himself strangely fascinated. She was unlike anyone he had ever met. Her mind sharp, her curiosity endless, her gestures delicate yet confident. At the same time, strange things began happening in the building. Lights flickered at odd times. Electronic devices acted strangely, and sometimes Jason felt a subtle warmth in the air, like an invisible presence. He realized that Lyra's presence was causing small disturbances, though she never meant harm. One evening, while Jason was preparing dinner, the apartment door rattled. A shadow passed across the frosted glass and a low humming sound filled the hallway. Jason froze. Lyra's eyes widened. "They come," she whispered. Jason grabbed a kitchen knife, more out of instinct than belief in its effectiveness. Who is coming? Scout, from my world. Take me back. Or, trouble. Jason swallowed hard. He didn't know what to do. The idea of aliens from another world chasing them sounded insane. Yet the fear in Lyra's eyes was real. He could not deny it. For the next few hours, they stayed hidden. Jason locked the door and windows, and they sat in the living room, tense and silent. Lyra held his hand tightly as if drawing strength from his presence. Jason felt a strange warmth, a connection he could not explain. I don't know how to help you, he admitted finally. Lyra shook her head. You help. By staying. By thinking. By being. The next morning, Jason woke to find a small glowing device on the kitchen table. Lyra had left it there while he slept. It pulsed softly, a rhythmic glow that seemed alive. Jason picked it up, and an image appeared in the air. A map of her world with symbols he could not understand, and a figure highlighted in red, moving closer to their location. Jason's heart sank. This was real. Lyra's people were here, and he had no idea how to deal with them. Over the following days, the strange events escalated. A shadowy figure appeared outside the window at night, watching. Objects in the apartment moved slightly, as if testing the boundaries. Jason tried to maintain normal routines, but he felt constantly on edge. Lyra, meanwhile, became more comfortable in the apartment, learning to navigate human life. She cooked simple meals, cleaned carefully, and even tried to help Jason relax, though her presence always carried an unspoken tension. Jason began to notice small changes in himself. He was more alert, more cautious, but also more patient. He found himself thinking creatively, devising small ways to protect their home, like setting improvised alarms using the old wiring of the building. He realized that the human mind, even without alien powers, could still find clever solutions. One evening, as they watched the city lights from the attic, Lyra spoke softly. Scared. Strong. But with you, feel safe. Jason smiled faintly. I feel the same, even if I don't understand all of this. Lyra reached out, placing her small hand over his. Bond grows soon. Stronger. Jason looked at her glowing eyes, and for the first time he felt a strange hope. Maybe he could handle this. Maybe they could survive whatever was coming. He didn't know how, but he knew one thing. He would not leave her alone. The night deepened, and a soft hum filled the apartment. Outside, the city carried on unaware, but within these old walls an extraordinary story had begun. Jason and Lyra were no longer just two beings sharing a space. They were connected by something far larger, something that neither human nor alien had fully understood. Then, without warning, a sharp knock echoed at the apartment door. Jason's pulse raced. He looked at Lyra, who tensed instantly, her glowing eyes wide with fear. Here, she whispered. We must hide now. Jason grabbed her hand. Okay, let's move, quick. They ducked into the attic space, pulling down a dusty old blanket to cover themselves. The door rattled violently as a voice, strange and unhuman, called out something Jason could not understand. His mind raced, but a strange calm settled over him. Somehow he knew that whatever came next, they would face it together. And as the door shook again, Jason realized he had no idea just how far this adventure would go, or how much of himself he would need to risk to keep Lyra safe. But one thing was certain. His life had changed forever. Jason pressed himself against the attic wall, holding Lyra's trembling hand. The knocking continued, each strike heavy and deliberate, sending a shiver down his spine. He could hear low guttural sounds behind the door, almost like words but not human. Lyra's glowing eyes darted nervously, and her small body shook slightly. Jason had never felt more responsible for someone in his life. Strong, she whispered. Take me. Jason swallowed hard. Not if I can stop them, he said firmly. He scanned the attic quickly. Old furniture, some boxes, and dusty tools littered the space. He grabbed a broken broom handle and held it like a spear, unsure how much it would help, but he had to try something. The knocking stopped suddenly. Jason's heart thumped as silence filled the apartment. Then a shadow appeared at the bottom of the stairs. It was tall, humanoid, but clearly alien. Its skin shimmered faintly, dark and metallic, and its eyes glowed a dull red. Jason's grip tightened on the broom. What do you want? Jason called, trying to sound braver than he felt. The alien tilted its head, and a voice echoed in Jason's mind rather than in the air. Return her. She belongs to us. Jason's stomach dropped. We're not going anywhere, he said, though the words sounded weak even to him. Lyra stepped closer to him. Jason, careful. Jason looked at her and realized something important. Lyra was not helpless. She had powers. He had seen them before. And if he could figure out a way to combine his ingenuity with her abilities, maybe they could escape. The alien reached for the doorknob. Jason had a sudden idea. He grabbed a stack of old boxes and threw them in front of the stairs, creating a makeshift barricade. The alien hissed and raised a hand, and Jason could see faint energy forming around it, ready to destroy the boxes. Now, Lyra, he shouted. Lyra nodded and focused. A soft glow surrounded her, and the energy in the air changed. The boxes stayed in place, vibrating but unmoving. The alien stepped back, confused. Jason realized that her bond with him, whatever it was interfering with the alien's control. This works? Jason asked, barely believing it. Lyra nodded, though her face was tense. Yes, but short time. Must run. Jason grabbed her hand. Okay, let's go. They slipped out of the attic and into the apartment hallway, moving as quietly as possible. The alien tried to follow, but the glow around Lyra pushed it back. Jason realized that for now they had a chance to escape. Where? Where do we go? Jason asked as they reached the street. Lyra looked around, her glowing eyes scanning the buildings. Safe place. Find old friend. Trust. Him. Jason frowned. An old friend of yours? Do I even know him? Human. Understands. Helps. Protect. Jason did not have time to ask more. They ran across empty streets, careful to avoid being seen by anyone or anything watching. Lyra moved with surprising speed and agility, her small hands gripping his tightly. Jason marveled at how different she was, yet how similar she felt when they ran together, hearts racing. After some time, they reached a narrow alley where an old, rusty van waited. Lyra approached it and pressed her hand against a glowing symbol on the side. The door opened silently. Inside, the interior was dim but safe. Who is this? Jason asked cautiously as they stepped in. A man sat behind the wheel, middle-aged, with sharp eyes and a calm expression. Name's Marcus, he said. Lyra sent word I'd help. You're Jason? Jason nodded. Yeah. I'm Jason, and this is... Well, Lyra, she says we're married. Marcus raised an eyebrow but did not comment. Let's move. There's no time to explain everything now. As the van drove through the city, Jason watched Lyra relax slightly. She leaned against him, her glowing eyes dimming as she rested. Jason felt a strange warmth inside him, a mix of fear, relief, and something he could not name. Marcus finally spoke after some silence. Lyra is special, not just because of her abilities, but because she is important to her people. Some factions want her for power, others to control her bond. You two, together, you disrupt their plans. Jason frowned. Wait, so this bond, it matters to her people, and I, just a normal human, am part of it? Marcus nodded. Exactly. They underestimated humans, but you have courage, creativity, and the ability to think. That matters more than strength alone. You two together are a problem for them. Jason tried to process this. Humans had always thought of themselves as ordinary, just small creatures on a small planet. Yet here he was, facing beings from another world and realizing his mind and instincts could save lives. He felt a surge of pride but also pressure. He could not fail. Not Lyra, not himself. As night fell, the van entered an abandoned industrial area. Marcus stopped near a building surrounded by high walls. This is the safe house. You can rest here. But stay alert. They will not give up easily. Inside, the room was simple but secure. Lyra moved to a corner and closed her eyes, meditating softly. Jason watched her, fascinated. How are you so calm after everything? He asked. Lyra opened one glowing eye. Must stay calm. Feel bond. Stronger when calm. Jason smiled faintly. Bond, huh? Maybe I'm starting to understand it a little. The following days were tense. Jason learned to live quietly in the safe house, helping Marcus with small repairs and trying to understand Lyra's powers. She showed him how to sense energy flows, how to anticipate movements, and even how to use small bursts of her abilities safely. Jason struggled at first, but found that his human ingenuity allowed him to combine simple tools with her powers. For example, he rigged old sensors from the house with her energy pulses to create early warning systems. During this time, they grew closer. Jason learned about her world, distant, filled with advanced technology and strict traditions. Lyra learned about Earth, its humans, and their strange, chaotic lives. Despite the differences, they found comfort in each other's presence. Lyra laughed softly at Jason's jokes, and Jason found himself thinking of her constantly, wondering how he could protect her. One night, while they were watching the stars from a broken roof, Lyra spoke softly. "Jason, I trust you. Even you, human. Strong, in heart, clever in mind. Glad." Jason's chest tightened. "I trust you too, Lyra, and I'm not going to let anyone hurt you. Not now, not ever." She smiled faintly, glowing softly in the night. "We, together, bond, strong." The next day, their peace was shattered. Outside, the sound of engines approached. Jason looked through a broken window and saw several alien ships descending. "They found us," he whispered. Lyra's eyes widened. "Yes, must act fast." Jason realized they had little time. He quickly used Marcus's old equipment and some scraps he found in the safe house to create traps and diversions. Lyra focused her energy, ready to amplify the effects. When the alien scouts arrived, they were met with unexpected resistance, flashing lights, sudden energy bursts, and a series of clever distractions that threw them off balance. Jason marveled at how his simple ideas, combined with her powers, could outsmart beings far stronger and faster than him. In the chaos, Lyra's bond with him grew stronger. She felt his determination, his cleverness, his willingness to risk everything for her. It gave her strength, making her abilities more precise and effective. Together, they managed to drive the scouts away temporarily. After the fight, Jason collapsed, exhausted. Lyra knelt beside him, her glowing hands brushing his shoulder. "See, human clever. Bond, strong, together. We survive," Jason smiled weakly. "Yeah, together." They spent the next few days reinforcing the safe house and preparing for possible attacks. Jason realized something important. Humans, despite being physically weaker than many alien species, had something invaluable: the ability to think creatively, adapt quickly, and act courageously in moments of crisis. He felt proud not just of himself but of humanity as a whole. Finally, Lyra received a message from her homeworld. The alien faction that sought her power was willing to negotiate. Marcus translated the message roughly. "We see your courage, human. You are worthy. The bond is recognized. No harm shall come to her." Jason looked at Lyra. She smiled, relief washing over her. "Safe. Now for time," Jason nodded. "Not forever, but we'll face it together. No matter what comes." As they sat together, Jason realized something had changed. He had started as an ordinary human, renting a small apartment, and now he was part of something extraordinary. He had faced beings from another world, survived impossible dangers, and discovered a bond that transcended species, planets, and traditions. Lyra reached out, resting her glowing hand on his. "Jason, my partner. My bond, my human." Jason squeezed her hand gently. "And you're my partner, Lyra, my alien. My friend, my everything." The city outside continued in its normal chaos, unaware of the extraordinary events unfolding in one small, old apartment. But inside, two beings, human and alien, had discovered courage, trust, and a bond stronger than any power in the universe. And together, they would face whatever challenges came next, ready to protect each other, their home, and the strange, wonderful connection that had brought them together. And even as the night settled, a faint glow filled the room, a reminder that the adventure was far from over. But now they faced it side by side,